Yo, what's going on out there? It's Larry coming to you again with another Blazing Sports Report. Had to wait till Game 7s were done before I did this, but now that they are all done, they're completed, what have you. Now we go on ahead and do this, the Western Conference second round, semifinal previews, whatever round they're in. Lakers pulled it out, and the Clippers surprised me. They were willed along by Chris Paul and a tremendous series with the Memphis Grizzlies. My hat's off to the Clippers. I didn't think they would get past the Grizzlies, but they did, so congratulations to them. But unfortunately, they're going up against the San Antonio Spurs. That's what we're going to start this with. San Antonio Spurs, I've said it before, I've said it many times, deepest team in the NBA. Arguably the most well-glued team with probably the best coach in the NBA. Well, he won Coach of the Year. Here's the thing. Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, they've been playing together for many years now. They know how things work. Steven Jackson, his head is on straight because he respects Coach Popovich with tremendous amount. Got the young guys in Green and Leonard. Splitter comes in. He spells Duncan at times. You got DeJuan Blair. We know the cast. We know the crew. They're going up against the LA Clippers team who I've said before, I believe Blake Griffin is overrated. The man plays out of control. He doesn't have a set post skill set yet, if you will. When he gets the ball, if he doesn't have a clear path to the basket, then he pretty much always gives it up. He doesn't look to create for anybody, anything. He looks around for help. Chris Paul is the catalyst of this team, no doubt. Caron Butler has come back early from the injury that he sustained with his wrist, I believe. I don't know if it's his wrist or his hand. It's one of those two. And he's been a great help for this team. Nick Young has stepped his game up from beyond the three-point line. The man, we know Nick Young is going to shoot balls. We know he's going to jack it up. But when it has come to clutch threes, I think that he has been their main guy. That role was with Mo Williams before, but now that Nick Young has come in, he's come off the bench. He's been a great help for these guys, and we can't discount the courage of Reggie Evans, what he brings them defensively. Hard-nosed, him as well as Kenyon Martin. Haven't even gotten to DeAndre Jordan around the basket, but here's the thing. The Clippers have a good mix of young guys and veterans. Chris Paul, we know he's going to get in their players, get into his teammates, and will them along. Yes, they have been flopping quite a bit. That has been well documented, has been said. I don't think anything's going to be done about it, but that's how it is. But when I look at this Clippers team, their offense is very limited in terms of what they can bring to the game. Chris Paul has to create for everybody. Chris Paul isn't out there. The ball, it really just gets stuck in one guy's hands wondering what he's going to do with it. The thing that impressed me more than anything with this team is Chris Paul. I said in order for them to win that series, Chris Paul had to be MVP caliber. And he has done that. But you're going up against a well-rested San Antonio team. Now, a lot of people want to say a team doesn't want to be rested. They can get rusty. Greg Popovich sits his players more than anybody else in the NBA. These guys are always well-rested. I don't think one of their main guys outside of Tony Parker plays more than 30 minutes a game. And I think Tony Parker is just over 30 minutes a game, like 31 minutes. These guys are always rested. So for people to say that for them sitting out for such a long time can give them rust, I mean, come on, guys. You gotta, if you don't know the game of basketball, if you just watch it as a fan, but you don't know the game of basketball, if you don't know the intricacies of what Coach Popovich does with this team, I mean, when you look at how they've blown out opponents throughout the regular season, these guys will rest in fourth quarters. These guys took nights off. These guys just sat around for quite a bit, because Coach Popovich knows that these guys need to be ready. Injuries have always been their problem. And when you have a bunch of young guys on the bench who are hungry, you can do that. Tony Parker's only 29 years old. The man isn't like the oldest thing in the book right now. And I think in the end, he's probably the fastest and quickest guy with the basketball in his hand from end to end. And in terms of finishing, I don't think there's anybody better that finishes at the rim like Tony Parker does. But here's the thing. They're rested. They're healthy. They should have no problem dispatching the Clippers. Their offense runs tremendously. They went from a defensive stronghold to an offensive team, and it has benefited them tremendously. I don't think the Spurs should have any real problems with these LA Clippers. I mean, the key matchup, as I always do in all my series, there's always a key matchup. The key matchup to me will be Tony Parker versus Chris Paul. Arguably the two best. No, because Rondo is still playing. So I'm saying two of the top three guys at the point guard position in Chris Paul and Tony Parker. These guys right here, they are going to be the main guys for the team. But like I said, when Chris Paul comes out the game, it becomes a who's going to run the offense. They don't have a guy that can run the offense outside of Chris Paul. So I think the craftiness of guys like Ginobili, like a Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is smart enough to get guys like Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan into foul trouble. The man knows the game of basketball. Arguably the greatest power forward that ever played the game. There's no flash, no frills, but he gets the job done, and he's been playing at a super high level in these playoffs. I think the Spurs will win this in 5 games. The Clippers are tired. They're hurt. Chris Paul isn't 100% with that groin injury. Blake Griffin set out pretty much the whole fourth quarter in this recent game with Game 7 against Memphis. So that lets you know where the faith really lies in this team. Blake Griffin doesn't have that experience yet. Kenyon Martin does, and Reggie Evans provides toughness, but Blake Griffin still has a lot to learn, and a lot of people that want to say that Blake Griffin will be a difference maker, I'm going to tell you right now, this is his first foray into the playoffs. He had 2 good games, in my opinion, but anything that happens good with these Clippers is going to come from Chris Paul. If Chris Paul is in foul trouble, or they don't give him the flopping calls that they do, then it's going to be a long series for these Clippers. And I think that ultimately Spurs will move on. I think that they're too well groomed together. They're too much of a well-balanced team, and especially when a guy like Tim Duncan goes to the bench and you have Matt Bonner playing the center position, that's going to drag out a guy like DeAndre Jordan or a guy like Reggie Evans. It's going to open up the lane so there's not really much contention inside the paint. That's the one. That's another wrinkle in the Spurs offense that will help them out in this series. But like I said, I think the Spurs too well rested. They know what they want. They know that this is probably their last chance. And I think that they're going to try to move past the series as quick as possible. Moving on to the matchup that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are excited to see. Thunder, Lakers, Kobe, Kevin Durant, 2 of the top guys in the league right now. They battle for the scoring title. I'm honestly think that this will be either the passing of the guard series, or this is going to be I'm still here, it ain't your time yet series. Meaning either Kevin Durant is going to dispatch of the Lakers and move on to saying that we are now the team to beat in the Western Conference, or Kobe Bryant is going to come back and say, hey, young fella, you got a lot to learn. I'm sure he'll teach you what needs to be done. This series is going to have so much intensity involved of it. We cannot negate the fact that the Metal World Peace elbowed James Harden in the last game that they played against each other will no doubtedly be in the back of some of these guys' minds. Andrew Bynum, we know he will get down and dirty. Kendrick Perkins, we know, doesn't back down from anybody. The Surge Protector, Surge Ibaka, he will be patrolling the paint, and you best believe if you come in there, you got to come hard, because he's going to come hard too. Pau Gasol, he's going to have to toughen up against this guy. Metal World Peace is going to be guarding Kevin Durant for most of the time. When you look at all the matchups in this series, There's only one guy on the court who's going to have a significant advantage when it comes to having the ball in his hands, and that's Russell Westbrook. Ramon Sessions cannot keep up with Russell Westbrook. Steve Blake cannot keep up with Russell Westbrook. Now, if the Lakers go to a big lineup and they switch it up to where we see Artest guarding Westbrook, or we see Kobe switching off and guarding Westbrook, which I still don't think Kobe will be able to keep up with that quickness and that athleticism that Westbrook has. But the X factor in this series is going to be Russell Westbrook. I know a lot of people want to bash Westbrook. I've said this before. I don't know why people want to bash a guy who plays with, when you have two legitimate superstars on your team in Westbrook and Durant, people want to say Westbrook takes too many shots. You don't hear that being said in Miami with Wade and LeBron. You didn't hear it when the big three came together saying if Ray Allen or KG took more shots than Paul Pierce. You didn't hear it. When it comes down to this matchup, fireworks are going to fly. This series will probably be more intense than any other series that we've seen. Kobe Bryant is going to have that killer instinct. Kobe Bryant is going to go out there and say, this is still something that we can do. We can still accomplish this. I'm going to need Bynum to get his act together. I'm going to need Gasol to get his act together. I'm going to need Sessions to get his act together. I'm going to need the bench to come together. I'm going to need Blake to keep doing what he do. Kobe Bryant is going to come out and literally dominate this series as much as he possibly can. But he won't be able to do it alone. Gasol is going to have to get tough. Gasol showed that he can get tough in that last game against Denver. But you got to remember, Denver is a much smaller team. Their bigs could not really keep up with the bigs of the Los Angeles Lakers. He's going up against Serge Ibaka, one of the strongest guys in the NBA, one of the more athletic guys in the NBA, especially at the power forward position, and the most ridiculous shot blocker that we have seen in quite some time. Kendrick Perkins, we know everybody says off the court he's the nicest guy, but on that court, he's got a mean streak. He doesn't back down from anybody. He's going to have to keep a level head as well. Playing with Kevin Garnett, he knows how to get in the other players' heads as well, but you know he's not going to back down from anybody. When you look at the Kevin Durant versus Ron Artest matchup, now we know that Artest has caused Durant a whole lot, well, world peace has caused Durant some problems in the past. Now, Kevin Durant, I don't know what it is about that Lakers defense, but he gets negated a lot of ways against these guys. Now, he did shoot a better percentage than Kobe Bryant did in the series this year, but to me, when the playoffs come around, everything goes up. Now, with Kevin Durant raised his level of competition, we already know that the man was playing at the MVP level throughout the regular season. They breezed through the Dallas series. But when I look at this, it's going to be more or less where we see that same that dominating defense that World Peace did. I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago when they first met up in the playoffs, where he was frustrated. He couldn't get a shot off. He didn't know what to do. And will it translate to 2 years later saying, I'm here now. I know what you guys are going to do with me. I've seen it in the regular season. I know that these are the playoffs, so everybody's going to come harder. I'm coming harder just as well. But the one guy I have yet to talk about is James Harden. James Harden is going to come off the bench. And you cannot... James Harden is basically the new Manu Ginobili of the NBA. James Harden is Sixth Man of the Year. He comes off the bench. He plays starter minutes. And he gets the job done. Possibly the best playmaker on their team, can attack the rim, can shoot the three ball, can create his own shot. The man can do literally everything on the offensive end. And for these guys to have to contend with that coming off the bench along with the Westbrook, who I says should have no problem. He should have the easiest path out of anybody else. This is what Westbrook is going to have to do this series, because like I said, I don't think Sessions or Steve Blake, whoever they put on him can really guard him if there is a point guard matchup. But he's going to have to draw in defenses with his attacking ability to the rim and create shots for other guys outside on the perimeter. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Daquan Cook if he gets some minutes. These guys outside on the perimeter, they're going to have to be ready to catch and shoot because Russell Westbrook is going to have to create a lot of shot opportunities for this team. Now, we know that he can get shot happy. We know he can get trigger happy. But the thing is, I would like to see him. It's the Derrick Rose syndrome. What I said with Derrick Rose, dynamic, explosive guy attacking the basket. But when it comes to actually making your teammates better, it's a little bit questionable. Russell Westbrook has not done that yet. So I believe, in all honesty, Westbrook is going to have to learn how to do that, and he's going to have to learn to do that fast, quick, and in a hurry, because that, to me, would be the ultimate deciding factor for this Thunder to pull this series off. It's not going to be Bynum and Gasol. It's not going to be what Kobe Bryant does. It's not going to be what Kevin Durant does. It's not going to be what Harden does. Harden is a catalyst for the team. He's going to be very effective, but Russell Westbrook is all riding on his shoulders, in my opinion. Kevin Durant is going to get his. We know that's going to happen. Kobe Bryant's going to get his. We know that's going to happen. We don't know which Bynum is going to show up. Is it going to be the dumbass that I talked about in my previous video, or is it going to be the Bynum who has his head on straight and knows to set state? Gasol has been there before, but he has to toughen up. But he's going up against a great defender in Ibaka. Like I said, Kendrick Perkins is getting people's skin as well. It's going to come down to Westbrook orchestrating a legitimate offense for these guys, not being so trigger happy. I don't mind if he takes 20 to 25 shots a game. I have no problem with that. But if the shot isn't falling, because we've seen him on bad shooting nights, the 3-for-11s, the 8-for-22s, the games like that, the 8-for-25s, those kind of games. We don't need those kind of games. If your shot isn't falling early, you attack the basket, you draw the defense in, you kick it out to your guys, and you got to make them better. If Russell Westbrook can make these guys better on the offensive end, this will be a quick, easy matchup for the Thunder. I think they can win it in 5 games. But if Russell Westbrook becomes the trigger-happy guy who wants to be known as the man, then this series could go 7 games just like the Denver series did. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be heavy. I think it's going to be strong. I think it's going to be contested, and I know it's going to be very, very entertaining. But ultimately, I think that I believe the winner of this series will probably go to the NBA Finals. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that right now. I know I said the Spurs probably have the best team, deepest team, all that other good stuff, but I think that these two guys, the way they match up so well, the way the teams will battle each other, I think that the intensity and the emotion will be riding so high for these guys that it'll carry over into the Western Conference Finals. I'm not discrediting the Spurs, but we know injuries take place and all that other stuff. Put it this way. I think the Spurs would have an easier time going up against the Lakers than they would the Thunder, for the simple fact the Thunder are younger, they're a lot more dynamic, but the Spurs are more disciplined. I mean, it'll be a very interesting finals. I mean, if the Clippers knock out the Spurs, I would be very shocked. I would be in awe. If the Clippers get to the Western Conference Finals, first of all, if that does happen, then undoubtedly whoever wins this Lakers Thunder series will go to the Western Conference, to the NBA Finals. But we're gonna have to see what happens. I don't want to jump the gun, but the intensity of this matchup is gonna be great. I can't wait for it to start tomorrow night. Let me quit rambling on. Let me know what you guys think. I'm getting deep in thought right here, just thinking about it. I'm getting excited for this matchup. You guys know that it's going to be an all-out brawl. I'm sorry that this video went on a little long. I rambled a little bit, but let me know what you guys think. Hit me up, facebook.com/blazingsports. Find me on Twitter, twitter.com/blazingsports. This is Larry Jenkins, Blazing Sports Support. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.